over with Sue Reese and Amy Jones-Kerr, the principal of Roseland University Prep and the superintendent of the Roseland School District. Did I say that right?
Correct, yes.
That was a lot of words all put into one. So we were joking before the segment started about how you guys kind of represent my worst nightmare of when I was a teenager in high school. Principal and superintendent.
Yeah. Yep.
I am so busted, you know.
You
bring
are.
the chief and then, you know. Yeah. So Roseland University Prep, for those out there who aren't aware of what you guys are doing, can you just, why don't you give me sort of a gloss of how it's differentiated from other area high schools?
You want to go with the history?
Yeah, let's go with the history. Gosh, back in the day, we traditionally were a K-6 school district. We had 2 elementary schools. One of our schools been in existence for over 100 years.
Oh wow, I didn't realize that.
And gosh, 17 years ago, when charter legislation was approved, we opened our very first charter middle school. With just 7th grade, we opened it with 60 students, and we opened it because it was pushed from the community, the students. They wanted to stay with us.
Well, what did the students desire that they weren't getting in a more traditional atmosphere?
I would say that probably the family feel in our district. We have a lot of families who have been with us since preschool and kind of got to 6th grade and said, well, we don't want to leave.
Right.
Can't we stay?
Because theretofore they'd have to like
Right.
go, okay, got it.
Yeah, so yeah, they really like that family feel, the connection they have with the staff and the teachers.
So you started with a 7th grade.
Just 7th grade, 2 teachers, 60 students, and we didn't know how it was going to go.
Yeah.
We didn't know if we would fill up, and it was very full.
Tell me
and
you had an 8th grade in the wings waiting to happen.
Yeah.
that was the goal,
Yeah.
but we kind of just took 1 year at a time.
That's great.
And it went really well.
And Amy was one of the founding.
I was a teacher. Well, both of us actually, 'cause if you want to go way back, we both were teachers in the district.
Oh, that's great.
And so when it came time, when the middle school opened, I had been teaching for quite a few years, and I decided I wanted to jump on that and try something different in the district. And so I chose to become a 7th grade teacher during its 2nd year.
Wow. What were some of the early issues you guys faced when you started this, what became Roseland University Prep? I'm assuming that's the trajectory you're on.
Yes.
Or you're telling me a totally chaotic story that's going to...
Yeah.
I think just the figuring it out, the communication amongst all the staff and the students, and just figuring out, okay, this is a middle school now. What we need dances, we need,
right.
you know, all the social
Right.
is huge with middle school students.
That's a big component.
We need curriculum, we need field trips. Just the list kept going on, and I think we knew we wanted to do, of course, a really good job. And so then we grew our program, and eventually I became an assistant principal of Roseland Accelerated Middle School, the school we're speaking of, to just take on a lot of the communication barriers and help fulfill a lot of the needs.
So at some point you must have, I mean, had a vision for RUP, because all these kids are getting out of middle school. Where are they going to go at that point?
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So at that point, the parents were going, okay, middle school's been wonderful, but we don't want them to leave now either.
Yeah.
So can you open a high school? And we're an elementary school district. You know,
That
middle
was
school was
yeah.
stretching it a little bit.
Yeah.
So now we have to go to high school?
That was a scary step, because high school is big time.
Yeah.
In our eyes. High school, you know, we went to high school, that's about all we know.
Right.
You know, we're traditionally elementary teachers, where we went to school to be elementary teachers. And
Did you guys have to be differently credentialed to teach high school? Is that,
Yes.
yes, so high school
or
teachers.
you're not, and I wasn't supposed to bring that up.
No. In order to teach in a high school, you have to have a single subject credential. So our teachers had to have that. But
Okay.
as far as being an administrator, you know, you would have your administrative credential,
Right, okay.
whether you're elementary, middle school, or high.
Right.
Got it. Okay. And so when did RUP start?
2004.
So it's
they
still
did this,
relatively new.
Yeah,
Okay.
so they started with just 9th grade, and then each year added up until they got all the way to their first senior class, who
I love this
graduated
iterative process you guys have developed.
Yeah.
It's just, you know,
One
Start
year
at
at
the
a
bottom.
time. That's how we do it. Yeah.
And Amy was actually the founding principal, so she found
wow.
facilities, I think, was a big issue for us, because where do we put high schoolers? The middle school was on the elementary campus.
right.
There wasn't really room for the high school, so we found this very cool warehouse.
A warehouse. I mean, that's
The warehouse.
It's amazing. Yeah.
It was, I think when I stepped in the building, I said, did I actually sign my contract? Because it took a lot of imagination, I think, to really
See a school there, huh?
see a warehouse become a school.
I mean, in the fact that you guys had to go to a warehouse at that point. Was that indicative of like issues in the district with funding, issues, or just?
No, I think it had to do, our district is very small. It's only 2.5 square miles, and it was the facility that was available within our,
that was it.
That was kind of it, yeah. And
Wow.
it's wound up being a blessing. We love our little warehouse,
Yeah.
and we are building a new building, and we'll be very sad to leave it.
Yeah.
It's become home.
Yeah.
You're going to
and-
keep it though, right?
We don't own it.
We don't
We've
yet.
been renting.
I see. Wow.
So.
Okay, so in terms of curriculum, like, do you guys are you different than Santa Rosa in the county in general, or?
Yeah. So I think the goal when Roseland University Prep was created was that we need to offer something different for our population of kids.
Who is your population?
They're Roseland District kids.
Okay, but
So
who are those guys? What are they? What demographically?
demographics. So we have probably 90% second language learners.
Okay.
Probably 93% free and reduced lunch. So they're the
So there's distinct needs that might be different
Yes.
from the district as a whole.
Hardworking.
I mean, the other districts, rather.
Families that
Yes.
many carry 2 jobs, and so our students need a lot of support from us to help them get to
Right.
college.
Now, I saw that amazing video starring Edward James Olmos.
Yeah.
I love how you guys get these, the talent coming. That really made clear that our RUP is very much a second home. If not sometimes a primary space for the sort of emotional growth that a lot of your students experience. How did you create that environment and create a safe space for these kids to really flourish and blossom?
That was really purposeful because with teenagers, they need to feel comfortable. They need to feel like you care for them, and that to kind of give it their all and then some, to have that mutual respect. So we spent a lot of time in creating culture. That was a huge piece, creating our environment, having the students be a part of creating everything that happened on that campus.
I perceived a real sense of ownership that the students have, and you boast a 90% graduation rate. Is that
95.
95? Oh my God, that's so great. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that when we come back with Amy Jones-Kerr, the superintendent of the Roseland District, and Sue Reese, the principal of Roseland University Prep. And we're back with Sue Reese, the principal of Roseland University Prep, and Amy Jones-Kerr, the superintendent of the Roseland District here in Santa Rosa. Before we took a break, we were talking about your graduation rate, which is 95%. Extraordinary, right? I will tell you, and there's 2 ways of looking at this, that I would not have been among the 95%, that in 1988, long before Roseland Prep existed, I took what in California they call the proficiency exam, right? So I either graduated early or I dropped out. How do you stop me from leaving RUP? Why would I want to stick there?
Yes.
Because I'm 43 and it's just kind of weird I'm in high school at all at that point.
Yeah.
But if I was 14, 15, 16, how do you keep me there?
I think it comes down to the relationship that we have with the students. Our students do not fall through the cracks.
Okay.
They have relationships with every teacher. We have systems in place to kind of keep track of what's happening with you. We have really good relationships with families, and we have those conversations with you. What's going on? What can we do to help? What kind of support do you need? What's happening at home that you're not able to be successful right now? So what do we need to do?
And we know that teenagers are geniuses at obfuscation, right? How are your relationships such that you can actually have a real discourse where they will share their issues? Because I know I wouldn't have. I mean,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
We have so many faculty on staff that at some point they connect with, they find someone that they connect with, and we use those avenues to help us to ensure that they make it.
And then going back to where you guys began, what was your high school experience like?
My high school experience was fine. It was
Fine.
a very, it was a really big high school down in LA.
Yeah.
3,000. There was 1,000 in my graduating class.
Oh, wow.
I graduated early.
Good.
I wanted out, and I wanted to go off to college. But I have some similarities with our students in that my parents did not graduate from high school.
Oh, wow.
I was the first in my family to go to college, and my parents were not capable of really helping me with that process. Supportive, but didn't really have the experience, and that's typically what we find with our students, that their parents didn't graduate high school for the most part, a high percentage of them. And
As I understand, it's a rule of thumb that student success is often predicated on the prior success of their parents in school.
Right.
Right. And so you guys come in though and sort of create an opportunity that helps them supersede that.
Yes.
And we're really starting at preschool in our district.
Right.
So it's become a through college mission for our district.
Did you always want to be an educator?
Yeah, I was in
Yeah.
the Future Teachers Club in high school.
Oh my God.
I always wanted to be a teacher as well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
What was your high school like?
I went to a large local high school and I did okay.
Yeah.
I was a hard worker, but had to work hard.
Where did you go?
I went to Montgomery High.
Oh, you're local.
I'm local.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a great experience, but my parents graduated high school. They didn't go to college, and I always knew I wanted to go to college. I think, looking back, not quite sure how I got there, but I went on to the Santa Rosa Junior College, and just simply because I didn't know what to do.
Right.
I didn't know if I didn't take this class, I couldn't get there. And so I think that's the piece that's been really important to me, to let kids know what they need to do, because I feel that if I would have had that, Amy, if you do this, you will go here, I would have done it.
I see. I find the JC invaluable, right?
Yes.
Do you have a lot of students going from RUP to the JC?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Probably the
And-
majority of
yeah.
the students.
That's great. Yeah.
And I had a wonderful experience there. And I had, at the time when I was a senior, I had the counselor come in and tell me exactly what I needed to do. And he told me to take 21 units. I took 21 units my first semester, and I did.
That's
and I
crazy.
was in and yes, and I was in and out of there. So it's just that, tell me what to do and I will do it. And that's what worked for me.
Yeah.
And so that's,
As a matter of fact, we took a group of about 30 of our seniors to the JC yesterday to take their English placement test.
That's great.
So we work really closely with the JC to help guide them on the path to getting in and getting out quickly and getting to the next step.
yeah.
Yeah. What are some of the biggest problems you encounter with bringing students through the system, your system?
I think that they don't really know what it means in order to take the A through G requirements. Our high school
Yeah.
requirements, graduation requirements, are the A through G. So we don't have
What
a
are
min.
A through G then? What is-
That's the college requirements to apply to a school.
Okay.
There's a certain
Clearly I would
list
not
of
have.
classes. There's a certain list of classes that
You
you
mean
have to take.
the GE requirements? Or no?
No.
So literally they're listed A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and you have to take
This
this
is in high
many.
school?
This is high school.
When did they start doing this?
This has been going on for quite a while
Always.
for CSUs and UCs. They have
So,
that
and
list.
wow,
if
I
you
had
aren't on that track, then
Yeah.
you can't go to a 4-year. So this is where.
Why would any high school not? Why would any high school have a track that wouldn't lead to college?
It's because they can graduate quickly.
Am I insane in thinking that's kind of messed up? I mean,
It's options. College is not for everybody.
fair enough.
And through our years, we're seeing, I think our ultimate is we want our students to for sure have a plan, and we by us instilling these A through G requirements, we know that they are properly educated and will go the path that is their choice.
Fair enough. I mean, maybe I'm being too prescriptivist, and too of my era, thinking everyone should go to college.
Right.
But there's a trend afoot, where the idea of college is being questioned now, right? I'm sure you guys have picked up on this in the media and all that. As a preparatory school, preparing kids theoretically for college, right? Do you find that you have to appreciate and work with those trends in education, that maybe college isn't the ultimate expression of academic success for you guys with your students?
I think for us, it's to have options when you're a senior and have a plan. So if that plan becomes going to a tech program at the JC, great. You have a plan. You do have the background skills and knowledge that we've given you in these 4 years to be successful at that plan. But we want them to have some kind of a plan. And for our students, they know that typically that plan is to some kind of post-secondary work.
Yeah. Having a plan at all at 18, 19 is extraordinary.
Yeah.
So, well, let's talk about plans for the future of RUP when we come back. We're talking with Sue Reese and Amy Jones-Kerr, the principal and superintendent, respectively, of Roseland University Prep. We'll be right back. And we're back with Sue Reese, the principal of Roseland University Prep, and Amy Jones-Kerr, the superintendent of the Roseland School District here in Santa Rosa. I did it.
You did it. Got it.
I want to talk to you guys about the sort of brand awareness of RUP. It's obviously been a huge success and made significant contributions to the lives of a lot of your graduates and current students. Is it becoming meaningful as a destination for students? Is RUP a place that people aspire to go? And do you have to turn people away?
Absolutely. You know, we're a public charter school, which means anyone can come. However, we have a certain amount of students that we can accommodate, and so we continuously have a wait list. And
What's the threshold? How many students can you have?
We're about 450, and that's tight.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's relatively small for a contemporary high school. I mean, you can almost know everyone.
That's the goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
We want to keep it that way. We want to keep it, we take pride in a small, personalized, family-like learning environment.
Yeah. Of the kids that have been turned away, have they ever come back? Like, have they been able to come in later years? Of
We have a continuous wait list. Kids can come in later, or we have sometimes students also through time think, you know what, maybe this isn't the right place for me. I'd like to experience a large high school, and some do that. And so we do have a little bit of
And how does your school integrate with Santa Rosa in general as part of the community of educators? I mean, are you a distinct entity that, you know, everyone's, oh, RUP, well, good for you, Sue.
Not sure if they say that, but we are our own district, so we don't really interact in terms of professional development or things like that.
So you
with
have
them.
like some autonomy, it sounds like.
Yeah, we do. You know, we have our middle school, we also have our elementary, so our collaboration comes with us communicating on standards and what we can do to help each other.
But you're your own thing.
We are.
That's great. What do you do that's different than the other high schools, besides what we were talking earlier during our break about having a single track that is
Right.
ultimately college bound if they choose to?
I think we really focus on the soft skills as well. We expect students to dress professionally. We expect them to shake hands when people come in the door. We have a yearly portfolio that the students are required to create and present to a panel of community members. It's a very high stakes, big, important day for the students. And we try to spend a lot of time on community service. We do a day of service twice a year where the kids go out in the community as an entire school.
That's great.
And they also have individual community service hours that they're required to do.
And in terms of other soft skills, is there an emphasis on arts at all, or?
Yeah, we have a wonderful art teacher. He does an amazing job with our art students. We also have just a lot of clubs and student-generated clubs, lots of sports.
Field trips,
Field
college
trips,
field trips,
visit.
experiences.
I mean, in some ways, it sounds like you have a private school experience
That's how we
in
see
a
it,
public
yes.
school environment. Yeah. Is there sort of any kind of elitism that occurs? Like, for example, when I was going to school, when I did go to school, there was Petaluma High, right, and Casa Grande, and then, but all the hoity-toity kids went to Marin Academy, right? They actually left the county and went to Marin Academy. Is RUP becoming Cinema Academy, Marin Academy, or is it just such a distinct culture unto itself?
Don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No.
But what if it did? What would you do?
I don't think we would like that.
No.
It's not who we are. It's
I know. Who are you, though? Who are you? I mean, if you could define your credo, and I know that's difficult to do, but it's seldom that I see a high school that has such a complete identity and such a sense of solidarity amongst its students and faculty. It seems like legitimately you guys are friends. How did you achieve that? And is there a sort of is there a mandate from within to achieve that?
I do think that the staff is the key. We have some of the most caring educators that you will find anywhere that are willing to spend the time and go above and interact with the kids on a personal level. And I think that if we had a credo, it would probably be that family.
Yeah.
Our students and our alumni come back and are constantly referencing the family. This is my
And
second family.
It really takes a special person to work in our district in general. And we're very clear about expectations and what works and what doesn't work.
Right. Now the students see you guys as family. What's your relationship with their parents? What's that like? I would imagine it's quite
Great,
different.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Very
quite
great.
different. I think it's
Okay.
I think it's a family feel there as well.
Yeah.
I think they're comfortable calling us and and interacting in terms of things that they're seeing at home and needs that they are identifying and coming and asking for support or for advice. Yeah.
That's great. Wow. Well, you're making me weep for my younger self. So what's next for RUP? You guys going to start a college next? Just going to keep adding, you know?
Gosh, well, let's see. Is it 4 years already? 4 years ago, we started an additional school. We call it our sister school. And 4 years ago,
which one's that?
5 years ago, the Roseland sisters approached us about opening a charter school on their campus when they had shut down.
Oh, interesting.
And so they came to us and we showed them our school, showed them, you know, who we're about, what we do. They visited all of our schools, kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, and saw the amount of work and, you know, what it takes. And they approached us and asked us to please open a school onto their campus.
What's the name of that one?
It's Roseland Collegiate Prep.
Just to make it confusing.
So with that site, we purposely chose to start with the kids a little bit younger. So that one's a 7 through 12 campus.
Wow.
So currently, and we do the same thing like how we've done because it works for us. We start with one grade level. So we opened with just 7th grade and then 8th grade, and now we're 7 through 10. Next year, 7 through 11.
Wow. It's pretty cool. But no college, there's not going to be Roseland University?
No college.
Southwest U? No?
No. We are building a new, actually ground just broke for a new building for us.
Oh, that's right.
So that will be on the backside of one of the elementary school campuses, so it'll be nice to be kind of back in the family fold again.
I want you guys to come back and let's talk about that, if that's cool with you guys.
Yeah,
so
it'd be great.
We've been talking with Sue Reese, the principal of, and Amy Jones-Kerr, the superintendent of, ultimately, Roseland University Prep and Roseland School District in Santa Rosa.
Yeah.
Excellent, guys. It was really, really fun talking to you, and thanks for sharing your insights.
Thank you.
So you'll be back, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, good.